But Ghana has made significant strides in media freedom, moving from 62th place in 2023 to 50th in the latest World Press Freedom Index by Reporters Without Borders. But what are the indicators? On the screen now is a breakdown of the World Press Freedom Index 2024. And so this is what we have. Ghana is currently in the 50th position out of 180 countries. That is the latest as we celebrate World Press Freedom Day. So this is the between 2018 and 2024 what we ranked, what we have. So 2018 Ghana occupied it on the 3rd position. 2019 it moved to 27 from 23rd position. 2020 from 27th position to the 30th position. Maintained 30th in 2021, and then jumped from 30th to 60th in 2022. Moved 2 places more to 62nd position last year, 2023, and has now come down from the 62nd position to the 50th position as of now, 2024. That is the current rank now. The Ghana's index score stands at 67.7%, also an improvement from the previous year. So this is how we progressed from 2019 in terms of the index. There's been 1.7% increment from 79.9% in 2019 all the way coming down to 67.7% in 2024. So the highest we went, that is between 2019, 79%, and then 2021, 78%. But there's been a decline from 65 last year and now to 60. There's been an upward in terms of the index from 65 to 67 from 2023 to 2024, representing 1.78% increment. But in terms of how free the press is, it's come down from 62% to 50%. Now, there are some indicators that is contributing to whether our situation is improving or is getting worse. So in terms of political, it was 61%, political influence, political intimidation, harassment here and there that can be linked to the political establishment. We scored 61.88% in 2023, but 2024, 59.5%, 2%. In terms of the status, the red means that it is bad. And so in terms of political harassment and intimidation, economic, legislative, and social. Economic talks about the working conditions of the journalists. Legislative is about the laws that protect journalists. And social, I mean, what you and I do, and then the security implications of it, how protected our journalists are in the country. That is high. That is very good. 82%. Social, 73%. Legislative laws that protect journalists, not the best. Economic conditions of most journalists is nothing to write home about. Political harassment and everything, that's also 59%. So clearly, there's still a lot more that should be done in terms of the ranking. Well, today on the pause, we are discussing the state of the Ghanaian media, and I'll introduce my panel shortly. But first, the Deputy Minister Designate for Information, Sylvester Tetteh, has pledged to back the repeal of a provision of Criminal and Offences Act 1960. Now, this provision labels journalists to have committed a misdemeanor if they publish or reproduce information likely to incite fear, panic, or disturb public peace, knowing or having reason to believe the information is false. He was speaking at an event at the residence of the German ambassador on the eve of the World Press Freedom Day.
As Ghana joins the rest of the world to mark World Press Freedom Day, questions about media freedom in the country continue to be asked. The country places from 23rd in that year to 62nd in 2023. One of the laws that can cause the arrest of a journalist is the Criminal and Offences Act 1960 Act 29, which says a person who publishes or reproduces false information commits a misdemeanor. But the Deputy Information Minister Designate, Sylvester Tetteh, who defended the attacks on journalists that have taken place since President Akufo-Addo took office, said he will support a bill to repeal the Criminal and Offences Act if presented before Parliament.
If you look at all the infractions that has happened over the last 5 years, I doubt if all the infractions directly coming from political actors. There are non-political actors as well that has contributed to these infractions we are talking about. That's why I keep making the point. There's a shared responsibility. Education, advocacy, reforming our laws. Look, there are occasions that the ministry itself or government itself had to issue statements condemning the police action on some of these matters. I have shared that position personally, going forward. Today I'm in government, tomorrow I may not be in government. That is how life is. Tomorrow I'll end up perhaps practicing as a journalist. So if I help to ensure that the space, the ecosystem is free and fair, it benefits everybody and entrenches democracy. So nobody is taking that it's stuck that you can't do anything about it. So Evans,
So you're in favor of repealing it?
We should. I mean, as a matter of fact, we should. Okay.
Executive Director of Media Foundation for West Africa, Suleiman Ibrahima, bemoaned the rate at which politicians are starting to own media companies, which are used for political propaganda, and called for a law to be implemented that will ensure that media owners have the capacity to pay their workers before they are given license to operate.
A lot of them are set up by politicians, an MP, and you can name them, you know them. And so it's all about, if my party is in power, I use my position to go for a frequency, set up a radio station in my village to do the propaganda for me as the MP for the area. So I think the first thing is to have regulations that would set up certain parameters on who is qualified to have a radio station in terms of your management capacity, your resource capacity, the capacity to recruit at least a minimum number of professional journalists to be able to operate.
Professor Audrey Gajekbo is the Dean of the School of Information and Communication Studies at the University of Ghana.
We know that there's a lot of talk, a lot of concern about disinformation. We're about to go into elections, and I worry, and I know that our lives are going to be miserable, because now we even have AI, and AI is allowing all kinds of things to happen. So there is a lot to be concerned about, and we ought to insist.
Deputy Executive Secretary of the National Media Commission, Alexander Ni Kate Bannerman, said the commission is trying its best to protect the safety of journalists.
If you talk about safety of journalists, I was at Class FM today, and I asked them, why didn't they report? We have seen it, and we've been there. Actually, it's with the police investigating. So I encourage them that last year we held a program with Ministry of Information on the status of some of these infractions. So I encourage them that they should get us the chronology of events so that we can do a follow-up with the police.
The theme for this year's World Press Freedom Day is A Press for the Planet, journalism in the face of the environmental crisis.
You're welcome back. So let's now expand this discussion. And of course, I've got the experts to deal with the issue regarding the media, because this is our day. Emmanuel Oparijan is national organizer, Private Newspapers Publishers Association of Ghana. Mr. Jan, you're welcome to the Pulse on
Thank you,
News.
Mother.
And we'll also be joined by other players in the industry. We'll also hear from you what you make of the work of journalists. You can join us with your comments, contribution via social media handles, either on Facebook, on X, and of course, myjoyonline.com, and of course, on our YouTube channel, and then we'll share it. It's Friday, so let's all have fun as we celebrate the work of journalists. Mr. Jan, first, let me ask of your initial remarks as we celebrate this very important day.
Thank you very much. I think it's a yearly affair that is done since 1993. And every year, a team is chosen for the celebration to remind reporters and journalists of the need to be part of national development and global improvement. And I think this year's one is on environment. And I want to believe that as a Ghanaian, I think it's a good theme for us, not only to celebrate it today, to consider it towards the end of the year and ensure that the right thing is done for Ghana, Mother Ghana.
Right.
And I believe that at this point in time, it gives us an opportunity to discuss the issues. So today, too, I think whatever we want to do, we can do it.
We can do it. Yeah. All right, fine. So I'm just going through the parameters that they inform the decision to place Ghana where Ghana is right now. And the broader headlines that they looked at the media landscape in Ghana, and going down there's also the political context. There is also the legal framework, economic context, social-cultural context, safety of journalists, and of course, so let's start from the bottom. It says journalist safety has seriously deteriorated in recent years. Several attacks on press freedom have been registered, including the intrusion of ruling party supporters into a TV studio and an attack on a journalist during a live report in October 2023. Politicians have also made death threats against investigative journalists. Most cases of police violence against journalists are not pursued. The same goes for murder of journalists. 5 years after the brutal death of investigative reporter Ahmed Hussein Suale, the investigation has grounded to a halt. Worse still, the Attorney General and Justice Minister told Parliament early this year that criminal prosecution had not been initiated due to lack of evidence.
But if you see the total ranking relative to 2023,
right,
you could see that security, it has been very good for us as a,
exactly.
as a country.
Exactly.
It has moved from 61.25 to 82.94, which is a good score as a country to have it. And it's good for us as the media partners to know that at least security is improving for us to work. And what is needed here is what were the issues last year,
right,
up to date. What happened last year in terms of journalists, the security of journalists and others. And I want to believe that even though we had one or two issues with the police, by and large, the freedom is there for us to work. And it's very encouraging. Let us continue to see the positives of the ranking than to always go back. If you want to go back always, then we have to go back to the 90s. Issues happening in where there were shit bombing and others, even though recently there's been this petrol bomb issue at this thing.
At Class FM.
At Class FM. By and large, you always have one or two extremists who want to believe that you have touched me and I want to touch you back. But general security for the media, I think it has improved based on the ranking that we have.
But in terms of people who perceive journalists as, threats to their own maybe livelihood or the kind of work they do, is it the case of misunderstanding of the role of the journalists that sometimes they go to the extreme of attacking the journalists? Or it is simply because of the kind of work we do that we become target of people's anger?
Because we are the voice of the voiceless. Somebody, my action must be to deprive somebody of his wealth. But because you are there as a media practitioner working to bring out issues for the public discussions, you want to put it at the front burner for discussion. That person sees you as a threat. And you know how the instincts work. When somebody sees somebody as a threat, being it business, being it politically, the attack is there. But it does not mean that we are not getting the needed atmosphere to work. It's there for relative to what happened years back. It's quite good. We need to continue to engage, establish a partnership with the necessary institutions and the bodies to let them understand us better than just to say that, okay, you attack us, they will continue also to attack you. That is where, from PRIMPA, that's our perspective. Because we are media owners, we believe that when the environment is not conducive enough, we cannot thrive. When the owner survives, the employees will also survive. So the environment must be conducive enough for us all to work. And we believe that we are moving towards from days of where you ask your reporter for assignment, you come back and tell them I couldn't even do it because of fear.
Because of fear.
But these days, those
things are not really as pronounced as it used to be some time back.
And people are more concerned even to give you the information than where sometimes it takes difficult situations to get
that information.
The information I want.
But classical example that remains unresolved is this Ahmed Suale matter, 5 years on. Now, the Attorney General, in a briefing before Parliament in January, indicated that, the office is unable to proceed with prosecution because of lack of evidence. Now, it remains unclear whether Ahmed Suale died because he was doing his work as a journalist or something unrelated. Does it surprise you that then clearly, the matter is going to die a natural death if there's no evidence for the AG office to prosecute?
Oh, I don't think that it will have that natural death. There are issues of death and murder which it has taken years to unravel the story. That is my conviction that one day, whatever led to his death will be in the fore for all to know. So I still believe that, because if you look at how let's take the death of the murder of the MP, that's also taken years.
Right.
And others. But we believe that if there's a need for us to improve our intelligence system to gather those information, then let us do it. We should not take one isolation case to deal with and say this one has taken too long. Equally, there has been a lot of cases that are still pending that the police service is not clear on the issue. I see it from that angle. But once he's a media person and it happened to him, I think the interest is there more than any other situation. And I want to see one day
that there will be finality
to this issue than to say that it has taken that too long. Because there have been cases which has traveled more than even 10 years, and they are still telling that they are working on it. If it's an issue of not having enough evidence, let us encourage people to come out. Sometimes it's those who have to come out to give the evidence. That is where the problem is. Yeah.
All right. We are discussing the media fraternity in the country, and I mean, are you happy with the way we've conducted ourselves? You can tell us via your comments on our social media handles. But one key issue that is of utmost importance is the economic situation of the journalists, because when that is compromised, then it opens the journalists to all manner of issues. Now, the report says in Ghana, most media outlets face financial difficulties, resulting in low salaries and poor working conditions for journalists. New newspapers are often launched, but only to fold within months because they were unable to cover their production costs. State-owned media, on the other hand, are awarded government advertising contracts and are paid in exchange for publishing information. Non-transparent and unfair procedures are used to allocate state advertising. Now, this matter, I mean, Prem Park is best suited to explain the seriousness of this matter. So, from Prem Park point of view, how is the economic situation impacting on newspapers, for example?
Very difficult. Let me admit, very, very difficult to be in the newspaper industry. The industry is dying. It's dying. Day in and it's dying. And it's affecting everything.
Why is the industry dying?
New trends of putting out information is part of it. New ways of doing things is also part of it, because those days when we used to, you carry the newspaper, it's distributed through the normal channel to other regions. It takes you a day or two. These days, before that newspaper got there, the information is already there. Social media is also part of the issue. Then, corporate Ghana is also part. Corporate Ghana is not helping the industry to grow. We survive on adverts. About 70% of newspapers' income for your survival should come from adverts. But corporate Ghana is not doing that. They are not helping.
They are not advertising with the print?
They are not advertising. For advert, it's a general thing that they are doing to the media. But when there is issues of press release and press conferences, they see the role of, and we are trying to encourage corporate Ghana to appreciate the fact that when a newspaper survives, it's for the benefit of Ghanaians. It's not necessarily for the owner or necessarily for the person who works on the paper. It's for the general interest of Ghana. When issues are brought out through the newspaper, like what the other media houses are doing to try to encourage Ghanaians to adopt best practices in the mining industry, encouraging Ghanaians not to cut down their cocoa trees and others. When this is done, Ghanaians begin to accept it and adopt proper way of doing things. I think the business will go, everybody will enjoy. But when it's dying, where would those being trained from our institutions go? It's a whole issue. It's a whole issue of an employment area that we need to sustain it. And government must also develop policies and programs in terms of adverts, in terms of capacity building and others. It should be seen to be part and parcel of national development and growth.
I'll come back so that we will take the issue one after the other, especially on the issue of the fact that social media is taking over your business. The question is, what are you also doing to stay ahead of social media? We'll deal with that. But because you raised the issue, I just want to find, so 10 years ago, for example, in terms of circulation, how much were you doing? 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
And now?
10 years ago, circulation was enough. Circulation and sales, let's combine the two. Circulation and sales, including subscriptions and others, were enough to cover your production cost.
10 years ago?
Yeah, 10 years ago, about 7 years ago, let's do about 10 years ago. Circulation was enough to cover your cost. But as we speak, circulation and sales will bring you less than 30% of your expenditure.
So every day when you go to print, you are losing?
Yeah, you are losing. So now the frequency of production is what people are adopting now. Instead of doing daily, people are doing weekly. You
once in a week.
Once in a week. Instead of daily, you are doing once a week. Maybe once in a while you look at the number of production that you do. Then you look at how to reduce, because there will be returns. So you look at your income, your expenditure, the returns. Then look at, okay, I am doing so much and I'm getting returns of maybe 20 or 30%. Let me cut it and see where I can send and get at least maximum sales of 80%. That's what we do. And subscription, that was a corporate Ghana. A lot of institutions these days don't do subscription again. They will tell you that they are also being affected by the economic issues. And therefore, they have reduced the subscription, which is the guarantee of your income per production. That one is not there. And when it comes to adverts, unfortunate as well, politically, they have tagged newspapers to political groupings. So, for instance...
Isn't it because of the kind of service and then the agenda sometimes that you pursue?
You see, I take it from two perspectives. Assuming it's what they are saying is right. Is it not better for me, as a Daily Democrat owner, to appreciate the policies and programs of that political party that my people write for, and always bring out everything that they want to push it out for Ghanaians to get informed? Equal another paper like maybe Daily Guide or any other Chronicle or whichever will be, will also have to be aligned themselves for another political party.
Right.
They also bring out what the other political party is also doing. So Ghanaians have the opportunity to be informed. You pick the two papers, the perspective is there for you to appreciate it. Come out, make an informed decision based on the two angles of the newspapers.
Right.
Than to say that because you see me, I write for more often.
It's for want of a pro-NDC newspaper.
I'm pro-NDC, and therefore, because our government is in power, when I give you adverts, I'll have problems with the system. So I am denying adverts totally.
Is that what you are facing?
That is the reality on the ground. That is the reality on the ground. But that is unfortunate. You see, at the same time, then another one will also say, okay, another time, because you enjoy it from the other side, me too, I can't do business with you again. And we are all suffering. We are saying that corporate Ghana, for the interest of Mother Ghana, support newspapers. Do away if you think that you'll be tagged.
But corporate Ghana is supposed to be neutral in all of this. If you are not getting advert from government institutions, I may understand to some extent.
We are the voice of the voiceless, isn't it? We are part of national development. We are there as a platform for people to channel out what they cannot do. That's why we do it. Assuming we do it and the security system is improved, the environment is improved, the health system is improved, who is benefiting? Everybody is benefiting.
Right.
Assume that we do it and we talk about taxes, and maybe there's a particular tax that we think this tax will kill businesses, and it becomes a discussion for the papers to talk about who benefits. So they should look at the work we do, the impact of the work we do to society, than to limit me because I'm this, and therefore I will not give you advert. Please give advert to every paper.
But the challenge that you spoke about, first, that people are not really buying the newspapers.
Yeah, the sales has gone
down. Sales has gone down. We are not getting the advertisers' money.
No.
So how are you surviving, paying your utilities and then salary of your reporters?
Yeah, that's where it's another challenge. But you know, sometimes when you can be at an equilibrium, the break-even point is there for you to survive. So you look at it. Okay, I'm doing with maybe 6 staff. Currently, I cannot do with 6 staff. Where a work that was done by one person, now you begin to combine the duties. So going out, those days you go out with a reporter plus a cameraman. Now you go out, you should be on your own. Sometimes you go out with a driver plus others. Those things are, you look at your cost. So now we are looking at our cost and how efficient we will be in the production of the newspaper. That's what we are doing. And there are new technologies of production too. We are trying to align ourselves to those areas as well.
The thinking here is that if people are not buying the newspapers, you should find a way to still reach out to your audience, including the setting up of a website, including the use of social media, so that if the market has moved from the traditional sources of news, consumption, to now the use of technology, you should be there as well. Otherwise, then it questions your own capacity.
We are. Everybody is moving. I can say about 80% of our members have now moved in the last year or two with online attached to their work. But we are saying that the fact that the online is now the prime source of information does not mean that we should leave the newspapers out.
Yeah.
Because it has its own benefit to society and to the country. That's why we are also trying to keep it and find way to let it be more profitable in doing the business. So it has become a portfolio to our business now. You have the online, then you have the newspaper as well. So you combine the two.
Combine the two at the same time. But that's what everybody, I can tell you for sure that even for traditional radio and television, which sometimes is the immediacy aspect can be guaranteed.
Yeah.
Social media has become a rival, which means that if you want to survive in this very competitive environment, you have to be there.
Yeah.
And you have to take the information wherever they are. It may be on YouTube, it may be on TikTok,
Facebook.
That is the only way you stay ahead of competition. Otherwise, you'll be overtaken by events.
But
there's also the issue of political interference. The report makes reference to, the seemingly silent control of the media by the political establishment, and sometimes the establishment of media houses by politicians, and how that compromises the quality of the professionalism of reporters and the media houses.
I don't see personally controlling my reporters what to do or what to write. That's your area. You have to determine the story you want to bring.
But the psychology of the paper may determine how.
But you see, normally, do you know how some of this report, they only judge the paper by the front page.
Right.
You get it? But the paper, sometimes the paper is 16 pages paper. And there are various areas of contribution. Health, agri, foreign, international. And there's so many things there that instead of picking the whole paper and go through, when I pick this paper, 10% was allocated to political, and sometimes even the political comment is not only limited to 1A. Because we have grown together, there are that integration there. You might be here, you have a brother who is also on the other side of the. So the stories are there. And I think that this issue must also be properly looked at with the various groupings that are doing the research to come out with this. Sometimes we should discuss.
Right.
We only see the report. I think sometimes after this, it should be discussed so that wherever they had the info, we look at it and say, okay, we said so because A, B, C, D is the evidence.
Right.
Then also no. Then maybe you also had it wrong because you could have gone further to open the paper and look at the other areas. Every paper does sports.
Entertainment.
Tourism, entertainment, all those things put together, economics and other things, health. So I don't see why you only pick a front page.
But the front page is the one that attracts.
No, but it's the whole paper. When you are reading a book, you don't just pick the book and say the book title is The Medal of this who is talking. No, read it and appreciate what is in the book than only to make an opinion based on the cover.
Of the
so
paper.
I think that we admit sometimes one or two people will go to the stream and do this. But these days, for newspaper industry, those court issue is not there like in the 90s and in the 90s where anything you write, you will receive a call. You wrote this, okay, we'll meet at the court. But these days, I think because there's opportunity for us to cross-check.
Right.
Mobile phones are there to quickly call somebody. In the 90s and this thing, if you want to do a cross-check of your story, you have to walk to the person's office and you not even get the person. And there's no other sources even to do that. But these days...
Mr. Jan, I'll give you your final words as we celebrate this. What would be your advice to journalists and media owners?
I will first advise government, the state. I normally want to use the state to appreciate the role of the media and let policies and programs also help the industry grow than to always wait and see the violations that once in a while is committed in the course of doing our job. I will encourage our friends to continue to do what is right. Doing what is right is something that you have to be happy doing it. Sometimes you step on the toes of others, but continue to do it. Take your personal security into consideration. Too much of you can't do me anything sometimes can end up somewhere. So wherever you find yourself, don't move into areas that are not friendly to you. If you think that area is too hostile for you to go and do story, please don't do it. Or when you are doing live reporting and you think that the people who are demonstrating, you have a contrary opinion and you are reporting the contrary opinion in the midst of that.
You must be responsible for your own personal security.
You must be responsible for your personal. So and also urging media owners that they should also explore other avenues to bring in more income so that it will trickle down to them.
Absolutely. And I guess you speak for your staff when you say that you should explore other avenues so that they can. All right, thank you very much. Mr. Emmanuel Oparijan is National Organizer, Private Newspapers and Publishers Association of Ghana. We've been looking at the World Press Freedom Day today, celebration of the work of journalists and how that is impacting on the socio-economic development of the country, the challenges they face, and how sometimes government policies and programs also fuel some of these things. We'll take a short break. When we return, I'll tell you about the 2 police officers that were killed yesterday by an unknown gunman.